Alright you guys, welcome back to another video. Today is a video about Burn Deck, a deck that I've actually talked about a little bit before when I was getting back into the U150 game, and that list wasn't that great, but then again, this deck is also not that great because it's Burn, and Burn's so bad. This is also the 64 of 64th deck list profile about the U150 tournament. Yay! So, if you are looking at the U150 tournament, we now have every single deck list available to you. You can look at any of the decks that we played in our tournament, which are now down to the final 8 at the time of this recording. Anyways, so the Burn Deck. The thing that makes Burn Deck worse than Sleep and Poison is that there's no way to burn your opponent, no easy way, I should say, to burn your opponent on your turn before you attack. There is a Blaziken, I believe, that automatically burns your opponent, which probably could go into this deck. I think it should. I think we built it wrong. I think a 1/1/1 line is kind of necessary because a lot of these attacks deal more damage if your opponent's burned, and then your opponent can get out of it some way. But that plus 40 damage you get from burn by having Volcanion or Full Flame out is too good to ignore, right? It turns a 20 damage attack, so you like 20 damage and burn, right? That's a pretty common attack. 20 damage, Muscle Band, Full Flame, that's now all of a sudden an 80 damage attack. That's really, really good. It's one-shotting all your support Pokemon, right? But since we don't play that, it's very, very hard to keep your opponent burned over and over again because they can just retreat out of it, they can switch out of it, they can just knock you out. There's a lot of different things like that. So, but, I digress. Without that, we're just going to go ahead and take a look at the list, even though it is just abysmal. So we're going to play a 1/1 Heatran line. This is one of your main dudes. It has Heat Metal. Usually you see it for Heat Wave, but Heat Metal actually makes them flip tails on burn all the time, so it's like guaranteed 40 damage. It's one of the cards you need to get out right away. Alongside of the Volcanion, where is it, right here? Alongside of this Volcanion here, because this does 4 damage counters between turns for burn. So this combo right here automatically pluses 40 damage, no matter what. Some of the other stuff that does burn, we do have the Heatmore, which is Luring Flame. It grabs something up and burns it. So with this in the play, you can grab like a Claydol up, it deals 40 to it, and if it doesn't get out of the active, it does 40 dying coming back into your turn. You have this Magmi. It does just free burn, so it's a free 40 damage. Pretty awesome there. So you're also going to have, another thing that you really need to get out. I was trying to remind myself what Blurm does. Blaziken FB also does Luring Flame. It's the same sort of thing. It's actually the same exact attack, Luring Flame. But this Blaziken FB, if your opponent's Pokemon is burned, it does 40 extra damage to it. So this is the reason why you really want to burn your turn, so you can deal 40 extra damage per turn. Really turns low damage attacks into high numbers. You're going to have this Torkoal. It burns them. Surprise, surprise. For 1 energy, burns them. Then next attack you can Body Slam for 50, which is actually really good. So let's just do some math here. If you have a combo out and you do Singe, they all take 40 burn damage going into their turn, and if they don't go out of active, they do 40 damage coming back, right? So now all of a sudden that's 80. You attach a Muscle Band onto Body Slam, so you're doing 70. If this is out their burn, so that's doing 110, plus the 40, that's 150 damage, plus the 80 they already have, that's 230. You're knocking out a lot of things, right? The only things you're not knocking out are like the big fat GXs. And that's just like turn 1 if you can get all this combo out, right? And that is kind of the miracle situation. It's very hard to get everything out, but I digress. That's just kind of like shows the power of the stacking of this deck. It is one of those ones that you have to get everything out. But like I said, there's nothing to burn on your turn, and I think that's what would change this. But if you did change it like that, where you have like a 1/1 line and you needed to get that out, you also have to get this out, this out, this out to really make it worthwhile. You might even drop the Heatran so that, since the new burn will automatically take the damage, this isn't as good. This is really for like if they're staying in the active sort of thing. So you might take that out and just go Blaziken, Volcarona, and then the 1/1 line. But anyways, we also are going to have a stage 1 line here. You're going to have both these Vulpix of Singe, just straight burns them. You're going to play the Alolan Vulpix because, hey, it's Alolan Vulpix really good. But you're also playing both of these Ninetales, one for extra draw power because you're playing a whole lot of fire energies, and the other one because Hex Flame is going to do 20, 50, 70 damage plus their burns 110. If Blaziken's out, it's going to do 150 for 1 energy. so that's really nice there, and that's why you play that. And then since it is a fire-based deck, we're going to play these two culprits that are in almost every fire deck. 2 non-EXs that hit for 100, or just accelerate energy. So that does it for all of these. I really dislike this deck. I really want to not talk about this deck anymore. It's so bad. Don't ever play this deck. It's bad. I'm just going to say right now, it won't be in our next tournament. It won't be in any tournament. It's horrible. But if you can find a way to make it work, let me know. Seriously. Because if you can get it to work, and you can get it to work consistently where you have the Blaziken FB, you have this auto burn, you can rack up the damage really quickly. Like I've said, the plus is just immense. Just really hard to get to that point. We are going to play the standard 4 stuff here. No reason not to play any of these. It's support Pokemon. You could consider dropping this right here since you are playing the Roche Reveal Ninetales. But this extra draw power never hurt anybody, right? Right. Moving on to supporters, it's going to be exactly what you expect. There's nothing weird here. I didn't sort this one out based off type. Oh well. You're going to have Beyblades, Blacksmith as well as a fire-based deck, Colress and Copycat for that draw power, Guzma for some extra switching, Hex Maniac goes in any single deck. Just be careful because it does shut off most of your abilities that you'll want. Karina for extra searching and to get your Claydol out easier. Lysander and Lysander's trump card for switching and retreat, and then recovery in form of Marley's Request. Brimes is going to be your switching card of choice because most of your stuff is non-EX, so you don't really need AZ. And Oracle and Collector round out that row, pretty standard stuff. Juniper, Oak, Sycamore, Rockets, Rosies, Skyla, Teammates, Twins, and Wally. Literally just like going down the row and playing all of the standard stuff here. The only thing not standard is Blacksmith, but it's a fire deck, so duh. So, Kiawe could be a consideration, but not a lot of your stuff requires a whole bunch of like extra attachments. So I don't know if I would actually play Kiawe. I would only probably want to Kiawe onto like my Baby Volk. So, going on to items, we're going to play Acrobike for some draw, Battle Compressor to get some fire energies in the discard for Blacksmith, Bill for draw, Computer Search, and Evo Soda for extra search. You are playing a laser because you are playing the Hexed Flame Ninetales. That gives it some extra damage as well. Kind of blows something up with that. Posterok's Invention, standard card there. Same with Atom Fighter and Junk Arm, very standard. Level Ball. We are playing Level Max and Premier Ball because the two Level X's that we have in this deck are very important to the strategy of it. So we want to make sure it's a little bit more Level X focused. Luxury Ball, Misty's Wrath, we'll round out that row. Pal Pad, Pecan, the rest of these are going to be all very, very standard stuff, nothing weird. Retriever and Oak. Super Rod, we're going to play Switch. You normally don't see Switch, you normally see Escape Rope, but we want them to stay burned, so Switch. Swoop Teleporter, Ultra Ball, Via Seeker, and Field Blower, just to round out the bottom there. Nothing too special, the only thing weird is like the Level Ball, Premier Ball, and the Hypnotoxic Laser that goes with the Hexed Flame. If you ever tech in that Ninetales, by the way, because it is a very techable card, it only takes 1 fire energy, and if you have like special conditions, it's going to rack some stuff up. So playing that laser is required with the Hexed Flame, if you tech it in. Then moving on to stadiums, we don't play Broken Time Space because your support Pokemon are the only evolutions. So instead, we're going to play Scorched Earth for some extra draw power, and Stark Mountain for some extra acceleration. We're going to play Full Flame. I mentioned this card earlier. It's Volcarona's ability in a stadium form, so it deals 4 damage counters instead of 2 between burns. And then we are going to play this card that's very, very kind of strange. You don't see it very often. It's Mirage Stadium. If they try to retreat, they have to flip a coin, and if tails, that retreat fails, and they can't try to retreat again. So this is a way to keep that burn on their Pokemon, for instance. Like I said, they can just retreat out of it, so it makes them dig for the switch and escape rope and that sort of thing. So that's why I play Mirage. It's different than, like I said, Sleep and Poison base decks, because you have Laser, because you have Gyarados, because you have Darkrai, you have stuff that can put them asleep that turn and get your extra damage effects from those abilities. Burn doesn't have that except for that stage 2, so this deck doesn't have it, so that's why I have to play Mirage. If that makes sense. That was a lot of an explanation for a card that's not very good. Tool cards. We're going to play Floatstone and Fluffy Berry to help with the retreat cost. This is really so that you can get your level X Pokemon on turns where you get knocked out and then retreat. Muscle Band and Choice Band for extra damage. And then we're also going to play Fire Cube. It gives your Pokemon Singe, so if you need to burn them, you can. We're playing all the Elite Four and Dowsing Machine. No reason not to play any of these. Dowsing's your best ace spec. Just blah, 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 blah. You hear it a million times from me. And then energies, no specials, just maximum fire. So we're going to 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 fire energies for maximum consistency. There's not very many DC reliant attackers, nor are there any sort of things that discard fire energies, so you don't really need burning energy. Is that what it's called? Burning energy? Yeah. So you don't really need those, just maximum consistency here. So yep, that does it for Burn Deck. It's not very good, but there's ways to improve it, so if you can improve it, please let me know. I still think even with all the changes, like with the Stage 2 line that auto burns, and all these other effects, I still think it's kind of a weak deck because it requires so much setup for not very much reward. And there's just decks that do like a similar thing, just better. Poison and Burn, or Poison and Sleep are just light years ahead of this deck. So yep, if you have any questions, please let me know. If not, have a good one.